3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglosh for the WDMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. And I'm at Nemoa again today, and we're doing our little live stream, 10 at 10. And here's Harry Gold, and he was a keynote speaker yesterday, and he explained all kinds of ways to cut through the crap in the digital world of and the metrics. And what I really liked about it was none of the vanity metrics that that I've been blowing away or trying to the last year or two. He went and it was here's how much we spend, here's our return on spend. That is the kind of talk I love to hear. Well, I'll just hold it.
Okay, he'll hold it. Okay, well, great. And you know, at the end of the day, we used to report on clicks and cost per click and impressions and CPMs and all that stuff too. But you know what? At the end of the day, when we're sitting around in the boardroom, they want to know, this is our budget, this is what we spent on
proven results,
digital advertising,
right,
and how much money did we take in.
Yeah.
So I really kind of skip all the metrics in between very often when I'm explaining to a large group, and it's dollars in, dollars out. Now, obviously,
you can still look at the stuff,
right. Obviously, when we're optimizing to get the dollars out, we're looking at all those little vanity metrics and all that stuff. But typically, I find that when we go in and people want to hear about results, they really don't care about click-through rates. I mean, I'd rather have a low click-through rate and a high conversion rate and a high ROI than a high click-through rate and no one buying anything on my site.
You're going to confuse people.
But at the end,
he talks about making money. I like that.
At the end of the day, it's really about ROI.
Okay, so
it's about routes. I talked about return on ad spend. Routes. So I put in $1 to SEM or PLA, product listing ads or social advertising. I put in $1 and I take out 10 or 20 or whatever that amount is, and that's what we try to get to.
Okay, how did you get started in digital?
So, wow, that's kind of a long story, but back in the
we only have 10 minutes.
All right, I had a music business, and we had a phone line where you would call up. You were in Boston. It was called City Line. It was sponsored by this local convenience store and WBCN, this big Boston radio station. And what we did is you'd pick up the phone and you dial 232 City, and you could punch in the day of the week, and you would hear all the club listings and all the band listings. Or you punch in the first 4 letters of the band, hear their music clip, and then find out where they're playing.
That's cool.
So in the newspapers, they used to put the extensions of all the bands, so you could literally hear what they sounded like out of the rock and roll rags in Boston. So this was all cool. I was making no money.
Yeah.
And I did a website, and it was really good.
How old are you?
I was mid-20s,
oh, okay.
mid-20s. And someone looked at the website and said, "That's a great website. Can you do one for us?"
Yeah.
And I said, okay. Me and my buddy built it. I said, sure. How about $2,000? And I said $2,000. He goes, really? The other guy told us 20.
Yeah.
And I went, what? Okay, people, new direction. So we stopped with the band stuff. We started building websites. And then people started obviously saying, okay, I have a website. Now what? How do I get traffic to the website? I said, okay. We started doing banner advertising, SEO, all that stuff. So that's how I got into it, and now here I am today.
Okay. Now, in your talk, you did mainly B2C, and that's mostly what I hear about in digital.
Yeah.
That's where all the buzz is. But you told me afterwards, because I asked you, what about B2B? And I mean, besides HubSpot and generating leads or something.
Right. Okay. So probably about 60, because I'm located in Boston, okay, and what we have in Boston is healthcare, financial services, and tech B2B. So we really have B2B in our core. So while about half my business is B2C, we have our B2B works. And in B2B, we're doing demand generation, we're doing account-based marketing, we're doing obviously lead generation, brand building, all these things. But primarily the same kind of thing, where dollars in, leads out, and then we follow those leads through the sales funnel. So usually it's in
But it's so hard to, I mean, I try to tell my kids, in the old days, you could actually look up someone's phone number in a book.
Right.
Now you can't find anybody's phone number. You can't find anybody to talk to.
And
they don't answer their phones.
And in fact, in snail mail, what's tough is a lot of people are working remotely. I mean, last time I had a job in a big corporate company, because my first company, the music business, and that company merged with another company. But I don't think I ever checked my mailbox once the whole time I was there. We just didn't communicate that way. Now what we're finding is even when we try to do clutter busters or 3D mailers and things with B2B, so many people are working remotely, or the address that's in Dun & Bradstreet for where they're supposed to be located is the corporate headquarters or something like that. It's not really where they're located. But in B2B, we apply the same philosophies to B2B as we do to B2C. Doesn't matter. There's a customer journey.
So you're media agnostic.
We're media agnostic. There is a journey that customers are taking, and there are metrics related to that journey that will help you optimize it. So I don't care if you're doing AdWords for B2B or B2C. There's a fundamental core set of metrics that you look at to optimize it. I don't care if it's B2B or B2C. If you don't have a great landing page, you're not going to be successful. If you don't land people from that Google click or that search click or that tweet or that email or whatever you're doing, if you don't land them on a page that gets them to do what you want them to do.
The IT department should not be doing your landing page.
Yeah, you need to look at your landing pages and say, how do I get people to do what I want them to do right now?
I like the green arrow.
And that's been my special sauce.
Okay, so last year, the World Federation of Advertisers said there was $16.4 billion in ad fraud in digital.
Yes.
What do you think is going to happen to address that?
Okay, so a couple things on how we deal with that. One, there are a lot of tools that we can add onto our, to DoubleClick or Mediaplex or whatever ad server you have. So there are fraud prevention tools. There are also tools that will audit your impressions and say, well, you bought 100,000, you bought 1 million impressions, but 20% of them weren't seen. And you can argue with the publishers or the DSPs or whoever you're working with and not pay for those impressions. But where we're going now, and there's so much ad fraud out there in terms of these networks, serving up ads and people not seeing them.
And bots clicking around.
Bots clicking around, all that stuff. But here at the end of the day, if your metric is dollars in, dollars out, there's some level of click fraud in there. I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but I'm saying it's there.
Yeah, right, I got it.
And if you have a channel...
It's like bad addresses on email lists or on mailing lists.
Right.
There are on there.
You have to accommodate for that waste. But if at the end of the day, you're getting a viable ROI from the channel, one of your optimization levers is to try to reduce the click fraud and waste. But the whole channel, if the whole channel is fraud, then of course you're not going to be there. But there's always some portion of it that may not be kosher.
But if you're watching the ROI, it doesn't matter that much.
That's right.
Because right away you're going to spot that.
That's right. And especially in B2B, by the way, there's a lot less of that because it's more on this B2C programmatic when they're serving up billions of impressions. These days in B2B, we're doing much more what's called account-based marketing. So, for example, one of my clients is a large e-commerce platform. There are 1,400 companies in the entire country that they can work for.
That's more like my company.
Right. Yeah. So what they do is we have advertising programs specifically targeting those companies, and more specifically the people at those companies that can make decisions about their products. So there's not a lot. We're so surgical. It's high CPMs, high cost per clicks, but super targeting. High value.
I really like what you were talking about when you said, now here's the people that converted and registered for the white paper, but look at these other companies that came to the site and didn't register.
Right. So in B2B, this is really cool. This is our secret weapon.
See, I was paying attention.
Right.
People think I don't. But
it's called reverse IP lookup, and you can use Leadlander or Visitor Track or any of these companies. But what they let you do is when someone hits your site, and let's say they're looking at SEO services. I don't know who it is, but I can do reverse IP lookup, and I can go, wow, look at this. Someone from Home Depot or Staples or Akamai or any company was looking at my site, and they were looking at search engine optimization services. So what does that tell me? That tells me someone at Akamai in the marketing department is revealing intent. So now I can go, okay, I go to Dun & Bradstreet, I go, give me everyone with marketing in their title or digital.
And you may not have paid for this. That might not have been from paid click. It might just be that they're looking around and found you.
Sure. Okay. That could be organic. Could be. But we're capturing not only the session information, but where they came from. Oftentimes we can just go into our own CRM systems and see people at the company. Now we have Marketo. Yeah. So if I actually knew who that person was, I can actually say, wow, Jane Smith from Akamai came and looked at my site and looked at SEO services.
And if they weren't going into their VPN, if they were really working from home and just on their local Wi-Fi, your IP lookup might even give you that address.
So if they go through the VPN, we get the lookup.
Yeah.
If they go from home, I get Comcast or whatever, and I can't tell. I can't tell what's going on. So reverse IP
There's no way
lookup.
to do that.
Well, they're doing device ID and they're doing router IDs and things like that, right? So, but with B2B,
and cookies.
But with B2B, we're really able to get get super surgical and also be able to get intent data and start putting companies in certain buckets. It looks like
Okay. Oops. I gotta wrap up.
All
okay.
right.
So if you want to know about digital advertising, get in touch with Harry Gold.
Yeah, and by the way, let me plug my company, overdriveinteractive.com. Go check it out. I got lots of good information and videos and stuff like that.
There, and I love the likes, I have to say, but they do me almost no good. Share this, okay? Share it with your friends and tell them to subscribe. I'm John Miglosh for the WDMA and the International